Okay, what's up, guys? So today I pushed to 6,450, and here are some of the best games. Okay, so we're in a game against Victor Heart Expo. He's actually using Logbait though, and let's see what he does first play. Okay, so he princesses the bridge, and I'm just gonna log that. And then he Ice Spirit, so I'm just gonna miner on the Ice Spirit. And then he Goblin Barrels. And when they Goblin Barrel and you don't have log, place the Knight how I placed it, and then place the Spear Goblins on that side because the tower goes for the Goblin on the right side first. So that's really important to do that. And then you only get one stab on your tower. And then I'm just going to Wall Breakers opposite lane to force something out. And then I'm going to go Bats with the Knight and just Tesla the middle for the Goblin Gang. And then let's see what he does. And he decides to go Princess to stop the Knight from getting a hit. And then I'm seeing if he's going to play anything in front of his Princess. So I'm just going to go Miner on the Princess. Just because I want to save my Knight. And I messed up the log, so I just went Spear Goblins. I couldn't really tell if that was a normal Goblin Barrel or if it was played back a little bit. And then I just go Bats on his Goblin Gang. Bats can actually counter Goblin Gang pretty well. And then he goes in with a really good Rocket. So I just go Miner. And then he was up Elixir, so the Rocket, so now I'm only up a little bit of Elixir since he rocketed while he was up. So I'm just going to go Knight Wall Breakers and then log his Goblin Barrel. And then he just Goblin Gangs on my Knight and my Wall Breakers. And I'm just going to go Spear Goblins on his Spear Goblins because two of mine survive. And I don't want to let him get chipped because then he's going to start Rocket Cycling me. And he goes Princess the Bridge here, which is really annoying. And I misplay my Knight, but the Wall Breaker stopped the Goblins from getting too many hits. Okay, and then here he has a Knight and a Goblin Gang coming in, and I can mainly just ignore it. It's mainly dead. And then I'm just going to log his Goblins and then let his Spear Goblins connect. And I'm just going to cycle a Fireball. And then I'm just going to Knight and play Spear Goblins on his Princess, and then I'm forced to Fireball his Goblin Barrel. So we're in a pretty good spot here, up 300 damage. And then he goes in really aggressively, so I have to Defensive Miner and then Knight and then Spear Goblins, and that cleans everything up. And he logs though, so I have to go Bats, and then I log his Goblin Barrel, but I miss one, but I play Wall Breakers. And I'm just gonna Fireball because I'm starting to just Spell Cycle since it's getting later into the game. And against Logbait, you want to be up at least like 500 damage at all times because they have Rocket and they can easily Rocket Cycle you if you're not up at least 500 damage. So I have to keep up the pressure, so I go in with another Miner in the back. And then I just go Bats and Wall Breakers because he played the Goblin Barrel a little low, so I didn't have to use Log. And then for this, I'm just going to go Knight, and then he goes Goblin Gang opposite lane. So I'm just going to Spear Goblins on that. He doesn't have that much damage on that side, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to go Wall Breakers to cycle. And then here I'm just going High Tesla in case he princesses the bridge. And I just Fireball his Goblin Barrel. Okay, so we're in a really good spot here, but he's probably going to start Rocket Cycling me soon. That's why we have to keep up the pressure and stay up in damage so he can't Rocket. Okay, here he goes in with a Rocket, so I'm just going to Fireball. And then I'll go in with a Miner and then log the Goblin Barrel and Tesla on the Goblin Gang. And I'm gonna fireball again because I'm just spell cycling right now. Because if I don't, he's just gonna keep rocket cycling. And then I'm gonna lose. Okay, so here I played my knight and my spear goblins like I did last time. And then I had the Tesla too. So it fully took out the goblin barrel. And then that's GG's. So pretty intense game. And okay, so we're in the next game here. And this guy's playing Graveyard. So right here, we're just going to go in for Spear Goblin's first play. Just for some chip. I think that's a pretty solid first play. And then I'm just going to go in with Wall Breakers to force something out. And he Goblin Cages. I'm just going to Bats the back. And then I'm going to Knight. Unfortunately, I meant to get the baby dragon to target the knight, but I messed it up a little bit, but it's still fine. And then he graveyards, and I just minor log and spear goblins to clean it up. And then I go wall breakers opposite lane, just to apply some pressure, and he tornadoes but misses a couple spear goblins, so we get a little bit of chip. And then let's see what he's gonna do. So I'm just gonna go bats the back. I don't really like going bats the back, but it's a decent play if you need the cycle and you don't have anything else better to do. And here I'm just gonna Tesla and trying to take out that archer queen because that's really dangerous. If he uses the ability when it's on my tower, it can do a lot of damage, and I'll just take one hit from that. And I'm just going to wall breakers opposite lane. I don't really want to play anything else in my hand, so I'll just force something out. And then I'm just going to pull the baby dragon opposite lane with the miner. And then he has a baby dragon and a goblin brawler, so I'm gonna knight, and then he goes graveyard as well, so I'm gonna bats. And then I'll log and play spear goblins, and it cleans it up pretty easily. Okay, so I just go minor wall breakers, and it ends up getting a double connection. I don't really know why he let that connect. He had a fireball in hand, so I don't know why he didn't use that. Okay, and I'm just going to Tesla on the baby dragon. I thought he would go in with the graveyard there. That's why I used the Tesla. And then he goes archer queen graveyard the bridge, so I'm just going to bats on the archer queen, log on the graveyard, and then knight on the graveyard as well. And then I just go spear gobs because I don't want any damage from the graveyard at all. And then he goes dark prince the back, so I'm just going to bats with the knight and hopefully take out that dark prince. Okay, so I go miner trying to get more chip. And then I'll go Tesla and spear goblins on the graveyard. Don't want that to get any damage. And then I'll just bats on the goblin brawler. And right here, I'm just going to go miner. So I just need a little bit more damage, and then I'll be able to start spell cycling him. I don't really want to start spell cycling him now, because then he could go in with a really aggressive graveyard and take my tower. So right here, I'm just going to Tesla the middle, and then log everything back. And then this graveyard's pretty easy to clean up. And he activates my king tower, making it even easier to clean that up. And his bomber gets a couple hits, but at this point it doesn't matter. I'm just going to miner and fireball and then log, and then that's GG's.